You mentioned earlier we have quite a short attention span.
Okay. The fact being that so many of these instruments have already explored things that current instruments are almost touting as brand new features.
Mm-hmm.
And we specifically were talking about the morphing function on the Polybrute.
Correct.
And we both, in our own
had that thought.
Separately, it's like,
Doesn't the
Nordly
Nord do
did
that?
that 20 years ago, man.
Yep.
You know, it's like that. Not that it's bad; it's awesome.
Sure. Or that it's cool to do it in an analog way.
Yeah,
But it's digital
it is.
control that's
It's-
morphing. You know what I mean?
Sure,
Just like on the Nord.
It's a cool feature, and it's neat that it's been resurfaced and it's being re-explored. But it seemed to be being touted by everybody. Check out this new innovative feature
Yeah.
that's never been done before. And it's like, it's been done before.
In a much more a similar idea, but FM coming back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Things like the Digitact, or sorry, Digitone, excuse me,
right.
and the Op6,
The
bringing
Op6,
FM into a new
absolutely.
interface with new controls and new ways of interacting with it.
You use the I word again.
Interface, it all comes back down to it, doesn't it?
It does.
The
And
way we
that's-
interact with these instruments.
Absolutely, and that's one of the important things. Most of us, you're probably younger than I am, but
Fair guess.
many of us, our experience with FM began with Yamaha's DX series.
Of course.
That was
For everybody.
the way it was rolled out to the planet, and of course, with the DX7, you had one data slider.
Yep.
and you'd menu dive and change that data slider.
And there's, 25 parameters for each operator?
For each operator, and of course an operator can be both a carrier, it can be...
And on and on and on, yeah.
Exactly. So there's all sorts of complexity there that was kind of, just from a theoretical standpoint, it was difficult to get your brain wrapped around it.
Mm-hmm.
So combine with that a less than ideal interface.
Yes.
It discouraged a lot of people from programming them.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people that pushed through that, learned the theory, and started to make some incredible sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something wonderfully inviting about having an instrument that has a plethora of knobs and sliders, or something that allows you to actually explore,
Yeah,
as
and
opposed
interact.
to exactly, as opposed to I know intentionally. I have the theory in place. I specifically know what I need to do to get where I'm going.
Yeah.
There's some things that you know what to do to your filter to get the sound that you've got in your brain.
Of course.
That came from experience.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. Wasn't like you came out of the womb knowing that.
Right.
But some of the things in FM are much more abstract.
They are. And you need to
And-
sit down with a plan in a lot of cases. You
Yeah.
need to choose even your algorithm from the beginning. This is the sound I'd like to make.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to decide. Like we were talking before, you step out the door. Do you go left or do you go right?
Mhm. You have some expectation of the path it'll take you.
Right.
It might end at a close, destination the same, but
But
a different path.
You are choosing a particular path
Yeah.
at that point. And then the question is, once you're on that path, do you know when you're going to turn? Or are you just saying, oh, this looks pretty, I'll
Yes.
turn this way?
and FM's hard to do that.
Without a good interface.
That's true.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that the Digitone did beautifully.
Yeah.
It was one of the first instruments of the recent
FM resurgence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That said, we're going to limit your options
Yeah.
to ways that you can really change the sound here.
Yeah, and by default, it's
that
locked
matter.
to hard, like good intervals, like pleasing intervals.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is going to be musical.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get rid of all the stuff that would normally discourage you
From exploring.
from exploring. Exactly. We're going to get rid of those jagged pits,
Mm-hmm.
those horrible death cliffs that
Inharmonic.
those sounds that you're like, oh my God, I just blew
get
my
past
ears
that.
out of the blue or something.
And the Reface DX has the 4 sliders for the operators, and the Op6
True.
has 6, one for each. I think those are really smart, fun ways to interact with FM.
Absolutely.